All new episode of the 2 Minute Drill Podcast. It's Jim Monahan along with Chris Swendeman. And Swendy, let's talk baseball collapses and colossal collapses because we're watching two of them right now in Major League Baseball. Let's go back 1964 Phillies. This is the first one that I remember. 6.5 game lead, a little more than a dozen games to go. I'm thinking, wow, because I'm living outside of Philadelphia at this point. I'm thinking, Dad, can we go to the World Series? They're going to play the Yankees. And the Phillies proceed to lose 10 in a row, 12 of 13, and it is
Oof.
one of the colossal collapses of all time. We move ahead to 1978, and you have the Boston Red Sox, who at one point had a 14-game lead over the New York Yankees. Everybody knows what happened, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
What we forget is that the Red Sox won the last 8 games of the regular season to force that epic one
Yep.
game playoff against the Yankees. The Yankees went 6-2. The Red Sox went 8-0. And there was a newspaper strike that year. It was tough finding information about games. But again, a colossal collapse because you're thinking, these guys are winning this whole thing. They are loaded. Rice, Evans, Lynn in the outfield. They've got the pitching. These guys are oh,
Oh
wait a
no.
second. And then guys start getting hurt, this, that, and the other thing. We have the Motor City Tigers, the Detroit Tigers this year, who are
Yeah.
in danger of not making the playoffs. And we have well, maybe not yours, but you know
Yeah.
what I mean,
Not
New
mine.
York Mets. And boy, you
Yes.
want to talk about a colossal collapse, Swendeman. We have one right here.
If you would have told any Met fan, Jim, before the season started, that the best you're going to do, if you win out these next 6 games, you'll be 10 games over 500 at the end of the season, they would have laughed in our face. We have Soto, we have Clay Holmes, we have the polar bear, we have Lindor, we have, and put, next a strange name here. But here they are, and the best they're going to do is maybe if they can jump over Cincinnati or San Fran to get to the playoffs. Right now, they're on the outside looking in as we record this on Monday night. And any Met fan right now is just losing their minds at the thought that this team and all the the hype and the hoopla around bringing Soto in for so much money.
I still think that was the right move, by the way.
It was they had to make Steve had to make a name for this team and put his mark on the team as the owner, and he did it. And I think both teams did the right move. The Yankees let him go, and the Mets made sure they locked him up. Both teams were going in different directions and needed different things. The Mets needed to make a statement. The Yankees do not. The Yankees still own New York. Sorry, Met fans. I hate to break it to you, but it's New York. New York is a Yankee town to me. The Mets needed to put a stamp on something and say, we're here too. Soto was the guy. And you know what? Steve Cohen said, I'm going to get him. And he did, true to his word. He went and got him $700 million later, and he got him. So, you know what? They had to do it. I'm not trying to play Monday morning quarterback and say it wasn't the right move. It was, but they didn't have the team built around him to sustain it. And it showed. This is a team that has not had a ninth inning comeback the entire season. Only team in MLB. Everybody else has had at least one comeback in the ninth inning. That tells you all you need to know about this team.
They are 7-12 in their last 19. They're 4-11 in their last 15. The sweep at the hands of the Phillies was probably the crushing blow as you're
Yeah.
going down the stretch and watching this. But I'm looking at numbers, and it's McNeil, it's Vientos, it's Beatty, and we didn't expect much from Mullen coming over from the Orioles. We thought we'd get something defensively, but we
Right.
weren't. We knew we weren't going to get a lot of offense. But it's those other three guys, McNeil, Vientos, and Beatty, who have really struggled down these last couple of weeks of the season.
They really have. And you know what? We sat here, you and I were texting each other at the MLB trade deadline, and we watched as the Mets made moves for the bullpen to shore up the bullpen. And we were like, wow, this is impressive. They're really going for it. They're really, and nothing has worked. Nothing has worked for them. The starting pitching wasn't good enough to hold up. And the additions they made at the deadline, it just, nothing has worked right. And it's, their bullpen is now, one of the, dare I say, worst parts of the team. The pitching is just, it's just bad, and you can't believe they put so much effort into the trade deadline, and just nothing has worked for them.
And I've been watching the Yankees as well, and as bad as things have been at times, whether it's Devin Williams or it's
Right.
Anthony Volpe, whatever. I mean, pick your poison with
Right.
what's gone wrong. They have a really good chance to win the division because Toronto has a rough schedule down the stretch. I think the Red Sox have a tough schedule these last 6 games. The Yankees, of the 3 teams, have the easiest schedule and could easily end up winning the division for all of the problems. And they've had a bunch of them. For all the problems that they've had, they could end up winning the division.
And now you look at the Yankees, the opposite. They made a lot of moves at the deadline to shore up their bullpen, and most of them, maybe Doval, okay, I'll take him out of the equation, but most of them, Bednar, have worked great. Bednar has almost saved the fact that Devin Williams has been an epic disaster in New York. But I will tell you this, every Yankee fan should have 3 words in their mouth this week. And it's 3 words you never thought you'd hear any of us say. Go Red Sox. This is where we're at. You're rooting for the Red Sox this week, folks, because you know what? They could help the Yankees. If the Yankees could win and the Red Sox pull a couple from Toronto, it could be the Red Sox and the Yankees jumping Toronto. Toronto is in a bad way right now. And then, the Yankees, if they win, it's going to take a lot, but they could do it. The Red Sox could make some noise, and the AL is going to be an interesting place these next couple of days.
Let's switch over to football. Mr. Bills Mafia, your Bills are 3-0. Congratulations, sir.
Just call me Mr. Brightside.
Who wins a game first, the Jets or the Giants?
The Jets. I'm fully confident it's going to be the Jets. First of all, they're playing Miami, a horrible, horrible Miami team on Monday Night Football. I think the Jets, I like for the most part what I see out of Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn, they were minutes away from, they could easily be 2-1 right now. They got decimated by Buffalo, but the other 2 games, if not for a bad fumble in week 1, they should have beat Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. And they had the game. They came all the way back. Bad first half. They looked terrible in the first half against Tampa. But you know what? They hung in there, and they were very, very close. If there was maybe less time on the clock, there's a lot of ifs and buts, but they were very close to beating Tampa. So I could see them winning. The Giants, to me, I just don't see it. And the schedule. Let's look at the schedule, shall we?
Please do.
The Jets. They have Dolphins Monday Night Football. Then they come home to play the Cowboys. Could easily win that one. Tough game against the Broncos in London. And then they come home to play Carolina. The Giants, on the other hand, they have the Chargers at home. A winnable game against the Saints, who are easily even worse than the Giants are. But listen to this. The Eagles, the Broncos, the Eagles again, and the 49ers. Where are they winning one of those games? They're not. They're not. This is a bad Giants team. And if every Giant fan who was cheering last night, yelling, we want Dart. No, you don't. No, you don't. Here's why. Because you know why? They are going to ruin this kid. If they put him in now, don't do it. The offensive line is terrible. Don't lose this kid's confidence before he even has a a minute to build it up. Let him sit. Wilson is a proven pro, and he's taken beatings before. If you need another quarterback, you have Jameis Winston sitting back there who's actually mobile and can get out of the pocket. He'll throw 3 interceptions to the other team, but he'll move out of the pocket. This offensive line is terrible. Address the offensive line in the offseason when you get a high draft pick, because that's pretty much what you're looking at this point, and then start Dart. Let him sit. Don't make him the Anthony Volpe of football.
Kansas City Chiefs are 1-2. That one, of course, the win against the Giants. That game was
Right.
closer in the beginning than I thought it would be. And there was a lot made of yet another sideline argument between Kelsey and head coach Andy Reid. And I don't know if that's just frustration after the way things have gone these first 3 games, or if that's an indication that there are some problems inside that locker room.
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's frustration because they're not used to being on the losing end, number one. So that probably isn't sitting well. And I think losing, you know, winning clears up a lot. And when you're losing, you see the marks more and you see the dents and you start to see the cracks. And I think you're seeing the cracks in Kansas City. They're getting older. Mahomes still looks good. Mahomes put them on basically on his back to get that win against the Giants last night. But Kelsey, he's getting older. He's got other interests, clearly. And the team just isn't that good around them that they were used to being surrounded. The running game isn't really there for them. The defense is so. I think the defense is keeping them in a lot of games, but they don't have wide receivers to speak of. Kelsey is starting, to get long in the tooth, and Mahomes can only do so much on his own. So maybe they're just average this year, or maybe we're starting to see the downfall of the Kansas City dynasty. I don't know, but it's definitely not the same Chiefs that we've been used to seeing that run roughshod over the NFL during the regular season over the past couple of years.
It reminds me a little bit of certain parts of Tom Brady's career with the Patriots when he just did not have the weapons around him. There was still some pretty good players, but
Oh yeah,
nonetheless, he didn't have, that go-to game-breaking wide
right.
receiver. So it very much reminds me of that. And speaking of the Patriots, boy, how do you outplay Pittsburgh the way you do and lose? Well, 5 turnovers will do it, especially
That'll do
two
it.
inside what, the 3 yard line?
Yep.
Oh my
Yeah. I
gosh.
mean, the one thing I don't understand, and I don't know, this is not, you know, um, calling out, the Patriots. This is for any team. I don't understand the head coaches that just go with that old gruff, football coach mentality. Oh, you're not playing rookies. They got to earn it. At what point yesterday did Mike Vrabel go, you know what? Our running backs keep fumbling, but let's keep going back to them. You have an all-world rookie in Travion Henderson that sat on the sideline when both their other running backs are fumbling. And Stevenson has had problems fumbling, but yet they kept going back to it. And Antonio Gibson, really? A retread? And you're playing these guys over a guy who was so heralded coming out of Ohio State that you still had him on the sideline? I don't get that coach mentality. I mean, obviously they know better than us because they are NFL head coaches, but I just don't understand when you're having problems with your running backs, you just leave the rookie on the sideline. They're doing the same thing in Pittsburgh. Look on the other sideline. They drafted a rookie out of Iowa, and he's still sitting on Caleb Johnson, and both of them were sitting on the sidelines. It doesn't make sense to me.
By the time we talk again a week from now, we'll be almost a quarter of the way through the NFL season. The Major League Baseball regular season will be over rather. Do the Jets have their first win this time next week?
Yes, I'm fairly confident they do.
Do the Yankees win the American League East?
Ooh, I'm going to try to keep my fandom out of it, and I'm going to say they come really close, but Toronto holds on by a very slim margin. I say maybe it's within a game
And
and a half.
do the Mets somehow salvage a playoff spot?
Hard pass. No, they don't.
Really?
No,
All right.
They're not going to do it. They just don't have the heart. There's nothing special about that team.
Well, we'll find out. We'll know this time next week. You know the deal. You like what you hear, tell a friend. You hate what you hear, tell an enemy. Just tell somebody. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And we will check you out next week here on the 2 Minute Drill Podcast.